Graduates, it's now my pleasure to introduce the commencement speaker for your graduation, who sat in your spot 33 years ago. Stu Crum has put the years to outstanding use since his graduation, building a distinguished executive career in the automotive retail industry. If you drive a car, it is highly likely that your service experiences have been shaped by his leadership. Today, Stuart serves as chairman and president of Bridgestone Retail Operations. This company has more than 23,000 employees and does about $4 billion in annual sales. The company's 2,200 tire and service centers operate under very familiar names: Firestone Complete Auto Care, Tires Plus, Hibden Tires, and others. Before joining Firestone, Stuart served as president of Jiffy Lube International, which serves about 22 million customers every year. Stu is a member of the class of 1982. He majored in marketing, and he attended TU on a football scholarship. After graduating from the university, he spent 3 years in the National Football League as a professional place kicker. We're grateful that Stu has come back to help advance TU as a member of our Collins College of Business Advisory Board and as a member of our Advisory Council for the Master of Energy Business. These service roles are among several ways that Stu gives back to the community and to the industry. You will find some other notes about his career in your program. I would like to point out, however, his former service as National Vice President for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. We're pleased to welcome Stu and his wife, Mia, who's seated in the audience. They are good friends of TU, and it's always a pleasure to have them back on campus. Please join me in welcoming Stu Crum.
Well, good morning. I am so proud to be here representing the class of 1982. Any 82 graduates in the audience today? There we go, got a couple. My friend Ed? All right. Who's got a daughter graduating today, which is pretty cool, I'm also extremely honored to be your commencement speaker today. I can't think of a greater honor for a University of Tulsa graduate to come back as a commencement speaker, so I suggest you all put it on your bucket list, all right? It's a pretty cool thing. Now, there's one thing that is the same 33 years ago that is the same today. The commencement speaker, which happens to be me today, stands between you and your diploma, all right? So I clearly understand that. So I promise to be pithy, which means I'll be quick. And I just want to share a few things with you that I have learned since my last 33 years of graduating from TU. I want to first start with a story. Dr. Upton said that I was a place kicker, and usually when I went places and I would go to facilities, they actually thought I was the trainer. At 5'7", 160 pounds, they don't usually consider you a place kicker, or a part of the football team, I should say. But in 1983, I call it my second senior year at the University of Tulsa. It was my second senior year because in 1982 I graduated, but I actually tore my retina in my left eye. And I had to miss my entire senior season. So I came back, actually went to graduate school, started my MBA, and finished my football eligibility. And so I came back for that second senior year. I was very fortunate that I had a coach by the name of John Cooper, that when he passed the 50-yard line, John would always kick field goals. So my senior year, I led the nation in field goal attempts. Not field goals, field goal attempts. But I was actually, I think, second or third. I should know this, but I was second or third in the nation in field goals, which allowed me to actually get a lot of attention from some NFL teams. So I want you to share the story with me. 1983, it's 3 weeks before the NFL draft. At this point, I'd already played in the Senior Bowl, so I'd kicked in front of every NFL team. I'd been to every combine. It's not quite the same 33 years ago, we had one ESPN station. It went for 12 hours a day, so we didn't have all the stuff on ESPN. But I had done all the stuff, but I got a call 4 weeks before the draft from the special teams coach for the New York Giants. And he says to me, Stu, I want to come out and personally watch you kick. That was cool. I was excited about that. So on the appointed day, he comes out to the field, and he puts 10 footballs on the 30-yard line. True story, by the way. I'm not making this up, okay? Puts 10 footballs on the 30-yard line across the hash mark. He says, Stu, I want you to kick for me. So this is easy. 40 yards to field goal. I was thinking to myself, 40-yarders, that's a chip shot. I had a 58-yarder my senior year. I knew I could make that. I was getting kind of cocky and confident. I lined up to take my kick, and I'd show you what I would do. This is my football, okay? You can't see it from down there. So I lined up to take my kick, and he says, stop. I said, what do you mean stop? He says, stop. He says, Stu, I know you can kick a field goal. I want you to do something a little bit different. I want you to hit the right upright. Now, if you're not an American football fan, let me explain to you what the goalposts are like on a football field. You have two goalposts at the end of the field, two uprights that go 20 feet in the air, and the upright's about 3 inches in diameter. He wants me from 40 yards to hit the right upright. No one had ever asked me to do that before. But by golly, I wanted to play in the NFL, so I was going to do anything he wanted me to do that day. So once again, I lined up, took my steps, and swung my foot. The ball went for what it felt like eternity to me. Eternity. Slow motion. But all of a sudden, at the end of the field, I hear this bing! I'm not sure who was more surprised, the special teams coach or me. But I started running around the field. I'm high-fiving everybody who see me. I am the most, you would have thought I won the lottery. I just hit the right upright. I don't think that coach had ever seen anybody do that before. And I knew that I couldn't do it again. But by golly, I hit the right upright. So I had to kick 9 more, darn it. So I went back and I kicked 9 more. Okay, I kicked 9 more times. I was close a couple times. I didn't make any more. He said, Stu, why do you think I asked you to do that? I said, Coach, I have absolutely no idea. He says, well, here's what I've learned. I've learned that when college players come to the NFL, they aim for the goalpost. They aim for the goalpost. But what we teach our NFL kickers to do is to pick something very, very small within that goalpost. And that's what they aim for. He says, Stu, when you miss a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left of the goalpost, what happens? I missed the field goal. He says, now, if you aim in the middle of that goalpost and you miss a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, what happens? You still make your 3 points. It changed the whole way that I looked at kicking. No longer was I kicking at the goalpost. I was aiming for something very small. I used that story 32 years ago as a metaphor for my life. Also, what he was telling me was this. He didn't tell me this, but this is what I thought that day. Don't aim for good. Aim for great in everything you do. Don't aim for good. Aim for great. And I thought about that story over and over. If I was to name this a commencement address, I would say, aim for the upright of life. Aim for the upright of life. That's what life is all about. It's aiming for greatness in everything you do. I'll pick my football up now. Okay. 3 quick points I want to make right now, and they're 3 quick points, okay? Number 1, I want to talk about family. I suspect if we look around here today, that there's a lot of mothers and fathers, grandmothers and grandfathers, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, fair to say, and they're probably here for one of 3 reasons. The first reason, most importantly, they're here because they love you, and graduates, they're supporting you, right? Number 2, it's because they're celebrating your success. They're celebrating your success. And number 3, probably a very small number, is because they are so very happy that you are now off of their payroll, right? I just graduated one, so believe me, I get it, Mom and Dad. I get it. But I think back when I was a little boy. I remember when I was 5 years old, my first Little League baseball game. Who was in the stands? It was Mom and Dad cheering me on. I was 10 years old, my first spelling bee. I finished second place. The little girl got an easier word than I did. It's my first spelling bee, finished second place, Mom and Dad still supporting me. Fast forward to my freshman year at University of Tulsa, to all the time I was here. My mom and dad never missed a university football game. Why? Because they loved me and they supported me. No different, by the way, than all of you out here today. Our success and your success is a result of the family that you have, the friends you have that supported you. So I'm going to do something that's probably a little unusual. All the graduates, I want you to do something real quick. I want you to stand for me. All the graduates, stand for me. Okay? It's kind of good because you're getting kind of sweaty anyway, right? I want you now to look around this auditorium and find the people that are here supporting you today. Make eye contact with them. Okay? Now, graduates, I want you to give them a standing ovation. Give them a standing ovation. You can be seated. I don't want you to forget anything. Remember how you got here, graduates. I think of a book that I read. I just finished my football career. I started my business career, and there was a gentleman by the name of Lee Iacocca. He was a big executive at the time. And Lee Iacocca had a quote. In his quote in his book said this: how many people on their deathbed say, gee, I wish I spent more time at the office? They don't, do they? As you start pursuing your career, don't forget your family. Don't forget your family. What's really special for me today, my wife is here, Dr. Upton said that. My 81-year-old mother, my 82-year-old father are here today. So no different than when I was 5 years old, than when I was 10 years old, or then I was 18 years old. My parents never stopped supporting me. The same support I have as a little boy, I have as a 55-year-old grown adult. So don't forget what your parents and your family do for you. Now, one thing's going to happen when I go home tonight. One thing's going to happen. My mother is going to say to me, Stuart, I only get called Stuart when I'm in trouble, okay? Stuart, why'd you tell those nice people at the graduation that I'm 81 years old? And I'm going to say, Mother, and by the way, I only call her Mother when I have to make a point with her. I'm going to say, Mother, I just told everybody that I'm 55 years old. I suspect they know that you are no longer 39 years old. Right, Mom? I can tell you, nothing changes. I am so grounded tonight. I am so much trouble when I go home tonight. Thank God I live in Chicago, right? Okay, 2 more points. I want to make 2 more points. I'm almost done, okay? Diplomas are coming. Second point is this. What is your legacy? I'm sure a lot of you have thought about this. You've now thinking about what is life after TU? What is life after TU? What is the legacy I'm going to leave? Now, a lot of people spend a lot of time thinking about it, and some people don't think any time thinking about it. I've thought about it a lot. As you get older, you do think about it a lot. It's funny. I've changed the way I think about leaving a legacy. There's 2 things I want to be remembered for, and I want to challenge you with 2. Only 2 things. Are you a person of integrity? And are you a person of character? 2 simple things. Are you a person of integrity? And are you a person of character? You see, what's going to happen over your life is you've got a value system. We all have a value system and a belief system. And those values and those beliefs are challenged over the years as we move into our careers. Some people compromise those values, and they do things that they don't really want to do, and they compromise what's important to them. My second challenge to you is be who you want to be. Don't compromise those things that are important to you. Remain a person of character and remain a person of integrity. Because quite frankly, when it's all said and done, those are about 2 of the fewest things that we can actually bring with us as we go into eternity. Think about that. Think about that. Think about staying true to your values as you graduate. Staying true to your values. Third point, love what you do. You're embarking upon many different careers. We're going to have some petroleum engineers in here, some nurses, some folks going off to law school, some lawyers actually finishing, a lot of different careers. The biggest mistake I've seen, now that I've been out of school for a few years, is some people chased a paycheck. They chased a paycheck. Let me challenge you to love what you do. I want you to think about it. I've been working now for 30 years. I don't count the first 3 years out of college work for me. Kicking football was not work, okay? Last 30 years, I have sold gasoline, I've sold motor oil, and I've sold tires. That ain't very sexy, folks, all right? That's not very sexy. But I can tell you, I can count in one hand the amount of days I wake up and I don't love what I do. And you know why? Because I knew 30 years ago when I started working my real job that I could make a difference in people's lives. I knew I could. Now, as the president and chairman of the company I'm running, yes, there's 23,000 teammates that I have a chance to really positively or negatively affect their lives. But nothing has changed those last 30 years. Love what you do. I suspect if I asked a lot of these professors around and behind me, they would say that they got an education for one reason, because they wanted to make a difference in people's lives. Some will tell you they wanted to become a writer. Some will tell you they love to research. But I suspect all of them would tell you that they love what they do. I want you to think about that as you embark upon your career, because it goes so very, very quick. And even selling tires can be fun, folks. It can actually be fun. Love what you do. That's all I've got. Diplomas are coming. I'm going to wrap this up for you. Number one, family. Other than my faith, family is always first. I want to challenge you to make family first as well. Number two, what do you want to leave as a legacy? Remain a person of integrity and a person of character. Number three, absolutely love what you do. Life is too short not to absolutely get up in the morning and love what you do. All those things need to be surrounded by aiming for the upright of life. Do everything you can, not just good, be great in everything you do. I am so proud of this graduating class. As I said, so honored to be here. Congratulations. And last thing I have to say is, go TU!